That afternoon, as the soft golden sunlight filtered through the trees, Nam stopped by my garden after work. He leaned his bike against the fence, smiling calmly, as always. "To come," he said, brushing the dust off his sleeve. "My mother has been asking about your friend lately. I told her about what you've been through, and about your strength. She wanted to see you, just to talk, nothing formal." "Your mother?" I repeated softly, a little surprised. He nodded. "She lives in the valley next door, near the old river. It's quiet there. She tends a small garden, raises a few chickens. She's simple, gentle, but she likes to understand the people close to me." His voice was warm, both affectionate and respectful, making me smile unconsciously. I hesitated, brushing the dirt off my hands. "I don't have anything for her. It would be rude to come empty-handed," Nam chuckled. "You don't need to bring anything, just bring me." But after he left, I couldn't help but feel a little nervous. I walked slowly through my small garden, the air smelling of guava and moist soil. The trees were heavy with fruit, round, green, and fragrant. I reached out and picked a few, the skins still cool from the shade. I had met so many people in my life, villagers, merchants, strangers passing by. Yet somehow, the thought of meeting Nam's mother made my heart beat faster than usual. I kept staring at the small bunch of guavas I had picked. I had polished each one until its skin was shiny, then carefully wrapped them in a piece of cloth. It had cost nothing, but it was the best I had, and I hoped it would show my sincerity. Standing in front of the mirror, I tried to smooth out the wrinkles in my old blouse. No matter how I fixed it, I still felt clumsy. Too plain, too crude, not someone who should be meeting a man's family. What if she doesn't like me? I thought to myself. What if she doesn't think I'm good enough? Outside, the sun was beginning to rise behind the hills. I took a deep breath, picked up the small bunch of guavas, and stepped outside. My heart was still pounding, but beneath the anxiety, there was a tiny bit of hope that maybe this encounter would be the start of something gentle. The day I met Nam's mother, the atmosphere was peaceful but strangely anticipatory. The mountain breeze was gentle, the scent of tea wafting through the air as I followed Nam up the path leading home. My heart beat faster with each step. When we arrived, she was already sitting outside, her hands neatly placed on her lap, her eyes gentle yet still discerning. She greeted me with a kind smile, a smile that was both warm and profound. However, behind that gentleness was something deep and discerning, as if she could see through everything. "Sit down, my dear," she said, her voice low and even. I handed her the small bunch of guavas I picked from the garden, suddenly feeling shy because they looked so simple. She accepted them with a grateful nod, her eyes gentle as she held the fruit in her hand. At first, I was a little nervous. My words were slurred, and I kept looking down, afraid I had said something wrong. But as we talked, that feeling faded. She asked about my work, about Swai, about how I was handling life. There was no judgment in her voice, only curiosity, and a touch of understanding. When she spoke of Nam, her tone was both proud and a little lonely. "He was always a good son," she said softly. "His father died when he was young. Since then, it's just the two of us." I looked at her then, really looked, and in that moment, I saw not just Nam's mother, but a woman who had also carried a life on her shoulders. Suddenly, I understood why she wanted to meet me. Not to judge me, but to know the woman who, in some way, helped bring tenderness into her son's world. The conversation became easier after that. We talked about simple things, the weather, the seasons, the small joys of ordinary days. I found myself smiling more, feeling lighter than before. When it was time to leave, she took my hand and squeezed it gently. "You have kind eyes," she said softly. "Your life hasn't been easy, has it?" but I know you have a strong heart. Take care of yourself." I couldn't speak, just smiled, feeling the warmth in her eyes rise. As I walked down the dirt road, I turned and saw her watching me from the porch, the sunlight glinting off her hair. Her gaze was calm, almost gentle, not suspicious, but a quiet affection. And right then, I knew, between two women who had weathered storms together, a wordless bond had just begun to form. After dropping me off at his mother's house, he smiled and said gently, "You've lived in the dark for too long, lytucam. It's time your nights were a little brighter." Before I could protest, he started his motorbike and headed down the hill to buy the wire and tools. When he returned, his uniform was soaked with sweat, but his eyes still held the calm determination I was so familiar with. "Let's get to work," he said simply, rolling up his sleeves. I followed him to the backyard where he began installing the electrical wiring. He measured, tied, and checked each joint carefully, his hands steady and practiced. I took bamboo poles and helped dig small holes for the wire. The ground was dry and hard, but we worked side by side in a gentle rhythm, the sound of the tools mingling with the rustling of the surrounding trees. "Be careful," I whispered when he leaned too close to the wire. He looked up and smiled. "Don't worry, I've done this 100 times." But my heart still skipped a beat every time the sparks flickered between his fingers. The sun was high in the sky, a golden light spreading across the hillside as Nam and I worked together. The sound of cicadas filled the air, mingling with the gentle rustle of the wind through the bamboo. Nam bent down, holding the wire with his practiced hands, while I held the bamboo pole beside him. "Hey, hold on a little tighter," he said, looking up at me. His voice was calm, but his eyes had a gentle, quiet look that always made my heart flutter. I nodded, my fingers brushing against his as he adjusted the wire. The light touch sent a strange warmth up my arm, something fragile, almost shy. A bead of sweat beaded on his forehead, and without thinking, I pulled a small handkerchief from my pocket. "You're soaked," I mumbled, handing it to him. Nam chuckled, took the towel, but instead of using it, he gently pressed it to my cheek. "You're sweating too," he teased. I quickly turned away, embarrassed, though I could feel the corners of my mouth twitching. The work was tiring, but there was a gentle rhythm. The two of us moved in sync, exchanging glances, small smiles, and silent cares. When I stumbled a little on the uneven ground, Nam reached out and took my hand. "Be careful," he said, his voice low, his fingers still wrapped around mine longer than necessary. By noon, the power cord was ready. Nam wiped his forehead, then signaled me to turn on the switch inside. I hesitated, and then, with a small click, light flooded the small bamboo room. The electric fan began to hum softly, turning the air into a gentle breeze. Little Joy clapped her hands, laughing with delight as the cool breeze brushed her face. "Wind, Mom!" she exclaimed, her hair tousled, her cheeks flushed with joy. I looked at Nam, and for a moment I was speechless. There was something so peaceful about the scene, the laughter of a child, the sound of the wind, and the quiet pride in the eyes of the man who had made it all. That evening, when the first light flickered above the wooden table, I made tea and set out 2 cups. Nam sat across from me, tired but still smiling, while Shui played nearby in the soft light. For the first time in a long time, my house no longer felt lonely. It was full of life, warm, bright, and filled with quiet gratitude.
Chúng ta vừa cùng nhau đi qua một hành trình nhỏ nhưng lại chất chứa thật nhiều cảm xúc, từ những nỗi buồn, những giọt nước mắt cho đến cả những khoảnh khắc bình yên, giản dị vô cùng quý giá. Cảm ơn bạn đã đồng hành và lắng nghe đến tận những giây phút cuối cùng. Mỗi một lượt xem, mỗi một ánh mắt dừng lại, mỗi một trái tim cùng đồng cảm đều là bạn vì hôm nay dành thời gian quý giá để đồng hành và hành trình của nhân vật trong câu chuyện này trở nên trọn vẹn hơn, ấm áp hơn. Dù phía trước vẫn còn nhiều chông gai, nhưng chỉ cần trái tim con người biết hướng về nhau thì bóng tối nào cũng sẽ được soi sáng bởi một tia hy vọng. Xin gửi đến bạn lời cảm ơn chân thành nhất. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn trong các tập tiếp theo, nơi câu chuyện còn tiếp tục mở ra và những bước chân kiên cường luôn mơ ước lặng lẽ và niềm tin chưa bao giờ tắt. Cảm ơn các bạn rất nhiều. Chúc các bạn luôn bình an.